اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك وأنت مسدد للسماء بمنك، وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة، وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقمة، وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك، فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي، وأجب يا رحيم دعوتي، وأغل يا غفور عثرتي. فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها، وهموم قد كشفتها، وأثرة قد أغلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، فكبره تكبيرا. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها، على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه، ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه، ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشي في الخلق أمره وحمده، الظاهر بالكرم مجده، الباسط بالجود يده، الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما، إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير، مع حاجة بي إليه عظيمة، وغناك عنه قديم، وهو عندي كثير، وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وسبحك عن ظلمي، وسترك على غبيه عملي، وهلمك عن كثير جرمي، عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي. أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك، الذي رزقتني من رحمتك، وأريتني من قدرتك، وعرفتني من إجابتك. فصرت أدعوك آمنا، وأسألك مستانسا، لا خائفا ولا وجلا، مدلا عليك فيما بسطت فيه إليك. فإن أبت عني جهلي عليك، ولعل الذي أبتى عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلم أرى مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لئيم منك علي يا رب. إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك، وتتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك، كأن لي التقبل عليك، ثم لم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إليك والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك. فارحم عبدك الجاهد وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح خالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه، وهو القادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق طالب الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعد فلا يرى وغرب فشهد النجمى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله، ولا شبيه يشاكله، ولا ظهير يعاضده. قهر بعزته الأعزاء وتواضع لعظمته العظماء، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أنادي، ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أعصي، ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازي. فكم من موهبة هنيئة قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونغة قد أراني. فأثني عليه حامدا وأذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يغلق بابه، ولا يرد سائله، ولا يخيب آمله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين، ويرفع المستضعفين ويضع المستكبرين، ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله غاصب الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الهاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع هاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وعمارها وتموت البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك. أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأما وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وبارك وترحمت وتهنأت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصحبتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم صل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. وصل على سبتي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. صلوات الله. اللهم اجعله الداعية إلى كتابك والغائم بدينك استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله. مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيته له أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وعزز به وانصره وانتصر به وانصره نصرا عزيزا وافتح له فتحا يسيرا واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله فتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والغادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا وما غسرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شأثنا واشعب به صدعنا وارتق به فقرنا وكفر به قلتنا وعزز به ذلتنا وأغني به عائلنا واقض به عن مغرمنا واجبر به فقرنا وسد به خلتنا ويسر به عسرنا وبيض به وجوهنا وفك به أسرنا وأنجه به قلبتنا وأنجز به مواعيدنا واستجب به دعوتنا وأعطنا به سؤلنا وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا وأعطنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين. اشف به صدورنا وأذهب به غيظ قلوبنا واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق. آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتظاهر الزمان علينا. فصل على محمد وآل محمد وعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجل وبضر تكشف ونصر تعز وسلطان حق تظهر ورحمة منك تجللناها وعافية منك تلبسناها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم برحمتك في الصالحين فادخلنا وفي عليين فارفعنا وبكاس من معين من عين سلسبيل فاسقنا ومن الحور العين برحمتك فزوجنا ومن الولدان المخلدين كأنهم لؤلؤ مكنون فأخدمنا ومن ثمار الجنة ولحوم الطير فأطعمنا ومن ثياب السندس والحرير والاستبرق فألبسنا وليلة الغد وحج بيتك الحرام وغفلا في سبيلك فاغفر لنا وصالح الدعاء والمسألة فاستجب لنا. وإذا جمعت الأولين والآخرين يوم القيامة فارحمنا وبراءة من النار فاكتب لنا وفي جهنم فلا تغلنا وفي عذابك وهوانك فلا تبتلنا ومن الزقوم والضريع فلا تطعمنا ومع الشياطين فلا تجعلنا وفي النار على وجوهنا فلا تكبرنا ومن ثياب النار وسرابيل القطران فلا تلبسنا ومن كل سوء يا لا إله إلا أنت بحق لا إله إلا أنت فنجنا آمين رب العالمين. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. تقبل الله أعمالكم إن شاء الله, dear brothers and sisters. Tonight's dinner was sponsored by our dear brother Muhandis Mehrane Saghafi. Let's recite Surah Al-Hamd for his honorable mother and for his honorable father who passed away just recently. Proceed with the last salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Our program is going to continue until the Eid. As I repeatedly said, the Eid could be Tuesday or Wednesday. Most likely it's going to be Wednesday, inshallah. And from tomorrow our programs is going to be from 9 o'clock. Starts at 9 o'clock and ends pretty much around 10:15 or so. And the Eid is going to be 7:30 in the morning. We're going to open the doors by 6:30, and we will have inshallah breakfast after the Eid prayers. Help me to invite the Imam of the Senate to the podium with the last salawat, please. I'm sorry, I missed the big portion of our program tonight. We have Atiya Khanum to speak to us first. Yeah, we usually in these 3 days or 3 nights of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we have one of our youth talking to us. So please invite Atiya Khanum Igul with the last salawat, please, while I fix this.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, all of your fasting and prayer is accepted from this holy month and you have received benefits from them as Ramadan comes to an end. Because this is the month of the Quran, I thought it would be appropriate for me to give a reflection on verse 30 of Surah Al-Furqan, which says, "And the messenger has said, O my Lord, indeed, my people have taken this Quran as a thing abandoned." And this is one of the main complaints of the Prophet on the Day of Judgment. So I want to examine a little bit about what the implications of this verse might be. And we know that it isn't the case that so long as the Quran is being read and recited regularly, that it's not being abandoned. We have seen many cases of people around the world who have very beautiful recitation of the Quran, but promote things that don't align with its principles. And this contradiction would be more obvious if the Quran wasn't being abandoned on the scale that it is. People take what has become so societally the norm for what Muslims are like or act like as reflective of the Quran, though it doesn't have a basis in it. This can be a dangerous road to go down, because then when we see the stereotype of a very religious person, we draw connections in our mind between them and the Quran, and we start to associate things with the Quran that the Quran itself may be against. So in this example, we might see someone who is very serious, but also maybe a bit harsh with people, has aggressive manners, is unwilling to be broad-minded, as just displaying attributes of a Muslim who is really following their religion and taking it seriously. We have to remember as well that we are never commanded in the Quran to memorize it only. We are commanded to think about it and to contemplate it, not necessarily only memorize. Instead of only preserving the words, we are commanded to reflect on them as well. Of course, this isn't to say that memorizing is not important, but it's the reflection on the verses that is the most fundamental aspect when it comes to the Quran. Nowadays, we see some people who, when you confront them with a verse from the Quran, they try to combat it by quoting hadith as if it's a proof or argument against it. When it should, of course, always be the other way around, where we have the Quran as our yardstick by which to measure the accuracy of something and not what is accepted by community standards or even some hadith. We have to take a special approach when we begin our reflection of the Quran as well. We can't approach it already having a very harsh bias or read it in a way where we are trying to get it to confirm however we already behave, instead of reading it to conform our behavior to it. Our attitude in approaching the Quran is especially important because a lot of the times, though we think evidence or providing different proofs for everything is enough, we have seen historically that this is not the case. Even in the face of clear evidence and signs, we still fall into this category of abandonment. If we as people were not inclined to be like this, then Bani Israel would not have worshipped the golden calf after they had seen the sea being split, Hazrat Musa's staff being turned into a snake, and so on. This is an example of how easy it is to fall into whatever everyone else is doing or thinking, even when there can be no clear evidence and signs in front of them. Because although they saw these, it wasn't enough. Because hearts have to already be in this state of approach for these things to have their intended effect. You can receive things when you have an open palm, not when you have a closed fist. Now that we have established that we have to take special care when it comes to the Quran, let's take a look at its main goals. We can refer to verse 51-56 of the Quran, which says, "I did not create mankind and jinn except to worship me." So the purpose of mankind is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those who have been exposed to the idea of God in a negative way, or have not really been exposed to God and worship in the proper way, have no opportunity to come close to their purpose in life. Is that true? No. Why not? Well, if we look at the reason why we should worship Allah, which Allah answers in the Quran, He says, "O mankind, worship your Lord who created you and those before you." Why? So that you may be of the ones who have taqwa. Worship and piety and taqwa are not the same thing. So what is taqwa by the Quran's definition? The Quran says, "Come together with one another to enjoin taqwa and do not cooperate in sin and aggression." So it juxtaposes these in a way to say that taqwa is harm reduction and that sin goes hand in hand with aggression. Taqwa encompasses harm reduction both physically and spiritually. So we see that it is wrong that Islam has been affiliated with aggressive personalities. Sometimes we see that scholars or speakers who people are most drawn to for inspiration and motivation are those who have the most aggressive style. We should be careful to associate removal of aggression not just with denouncing ISIS, but to realize that everything we say, how we say it, and who we say different things to are all a part of it. Because if we're not actively trying to reduce potential harms and conflicts with all of these things, then we are opposing the goals Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set for us in the Quran. And we see further, the only case that something which may be seen as causing harm is allowed is if it is in reaction to a greater harm or to prevent a grander scale of harm from taking place. This is something necessary to have a correct understanding of God, which we seek through worship. As Muslims, we are equipped with all of the tools to attain taqwa. But is it more conducive to attain taqwa to be a Muslim and spend all day spreading animosity and starting drama and riling people up and having a certain attitude, or to be someone who was not exposed to Islam fully or in the same way, but carries themselves and holds ideas that promote harm reduction? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, to be one who has taqwa so that you can be one who is thankful. So as we wrap up this holy month of Ramadan, let's show our gratitude and continue to keep the spirit and goals of the Quran alive in our hearts so that we are not implicated in the Prophet's unhappiness of, "O my Lord, indeed my people have taken this Quran as a thing abandoned." Thank you.
Ahsanti, Hajj Atiyah. May Allah bless you and bless your parents, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala anbiya'illahi jami'an wa ala sayyidihim wa khatamihim habibi ilahil alameen Abil Qasim al-Mustafa Muhammad. وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما سيدنا ومولانا وقائدنا الإمام المهدي المنتظر عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه وأعد لهم جنات تجري تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا ذلك الفوز العظيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. In continuation of our series on the great women of mankind, tonight I'll speak about one of the companions of the Prophet, a lady who was Sahabiyya, among the friends and companions and disciples of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Obviously, we know that without the contribution of those who were around the Prophet, whether family members, his immediate family, his daughter, his cousin Imam Ali, his children, or his loyal companions, so many of them were loyal to him. They believed in him, they supported in him, they stood with him, they sacrificed with him. لا يستوي منكم من أنفق من قبل الفتح وقاتل أولئك أعظم درجة من الذين أنفقوا من بعد وقاتلوا وكلا وعد الله الحسنى. The Holy Quran puts them in different categories. He says the elite one among them are those who were with the Prophet from Mecca before the conquest of Mecca. The conquest of Mecca took place in the year 8th of Hijrah, just 3 years before the departure of the Prophet. But there were many people who stood with the Prophet from the early days when he was in Mecca, and they sacrificed. Among them are men and women. And among those women, who is Sahabiyya, who has been praised by the Prophet himself. The Prophet praised her. And I would tell you how did he praise this lady. Her name is Nasiba bint Ka'b al-Ansariya. Amara. Her son's name is Amara, and Amara was murdered and he was martyred during the Battle of Uhud. His mother was encouraging him to go forward until he died right before the eyes of his mother. So Amara, and her name is Nasiba bint Ka'b al-Ansariya. When the Prophet ﷺ was in Mecca inviting people to this new religion, it's ironic that many people in Mecca, they did not respond to him. But people of Medina, Yathrib, they did respond to the Prophet's call. And therefore they used to come to pilgrimage. And pilgrimage did exist even before Islam. Pilgrimage is a very, very ancient tradition that started with Abraham and continued until today. So people used to come, even polytheists, they used to come to pilgrimage. But of course, rather than worshipping God, they would place their idols at the top of the Kaaba, and there were many idols there, and they bow to them, they respect them, they pay tribute to them, they sacrifice their animals on the altar for the sake of these idols. So some people used to come from Yathrib, from Medina, to Mecca for pilgrimage. And those people, they used to meet the Prophet ﷺ. One year, a group of them came and they listened to him and they showed interest in Islam. The Prophet made an appointment with them. He said, go back to your community, invite people to Islam, and come and meet me next year after the conclusion of the Hajj season. When Hajj is over, I will meet you in such and such place. So they came, and that was known as Bay'atul Aqabatil Ula. Bay'atul Aqabatil Ula. About 70 men with only 2 women came from Yathrib. They did their pilgrimage, and then they made bay'ah, allegiance, with the Prophet. The Prophet came out and he met them outside Mecca near Mina, and the Prophet was accompanied by Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, who was young, very young at that time, and with his 2 uncles, Al-Abbas and Al-Hamza. So they met and they paid allegiance to the Prophet. All of them shook hand with the Prophet, accepting his message, accepting that he's the messenger of God, and making a vow that they're going to support him. And one of the articles of that vow, that covenant that they made with the Prophet, وَأَنْ لَا نُنَازِعَ الْأَمْرَ أَهْلَهِ. After the Prophet, al-amr here is leadership, the khilafah. We are going to listen to the Prophet. We are going to remain loyal to the Prophet. Whoever the Prophet appoints after him, we're going to accept. We are not going to argue about that. وَأَنْ لَا نُنَازِعَ الْأَمْرَ أَهْلَهِ. And then among those 70, there were 2 ladies. So the man came, the husband of Nasiba came to the Prophet. His name is Ghuzya ibn Amr, Abu Amara. He came, he said, Ya Rasulullah, among us there are 2 ladies also. They want to pay allegiance to you. So the Prophet welcomed them, and they accepted Islam and they paid allegiance. One of them was this lady, Nasiba bint Ka'b, and her friend, the other female friend, Sabi'. So they both paid allegiance to the Prophet. And the Prophet asked them to go back and preach this new religion to their communities. When the Prophet ﷺ moved from Mecca to Medina, there were some people who were waiting for his arrival. Some people who were already Muslims because they met him in Mecca. Others, they didn't meet him yet, but they heard about him and they heard about his message. So he had already established a community in Medina even before his arrival. Among them was Nasiba. Nasiba was very active. Most women at that time, their job was to serve their husbands. And it's the same today and tomorrow until the day of judgment. Most women, they have to cook, they have to clean, they have to take care of the kids, most of the time. They have a 24/7 job, full-time job of taking care of the family. And some men, they are lazy, they don't work at home. They don't work. They are only expected to be served the food and all other services free of charge. And there are some men who are active, who are good. They help their wives. They stand with them. They help them. They are a good support to their families. They help their children with their homework. So Nasiba was a good mother, a good wife, and also a good member in the community. She was an activist. In today's language, she was an activist. Not only assigning herself to her family and to her home, but also she was helping women outside. She was helping her community, trying to reach out to other women. She was not, some people are happy with what they do locally at home. Some people are not happy with that. They know the family is part of their duty, but then they have a bigger family, which is called the community, the society. They have a bigger role. Therefore, Nasiba was very active, working very hard, preparing the grounds for the Prophet ﷺ to come to Medina. And when the Prophet came to Medina, Ansar welcomed him. And in some stories we read that Imam Ali alayhi salam, before he married Lady Fatima alayhi salam, he had no place to live. He was single and he had no place. So he had to stay for some time in the house of this lady and her husband. This lady Nasiba, she hosted Imam Ali in her house and the house, of course, of her husband with her family before he got married to Fatima alayhi salam. And when he married Fatima, of course, they had a house. And you know the story of that house. This house was only one room. One room. Not one apartment. One single room. And then Quraysh were defeated in the Battle of Badr. But that defeat was very hard for them to take. They could not come to terms with that big defeat that they received. وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ. God says to the Muslims, adillah here means that you were weak. You didn't have power. You didn't have energy. You didn't have weapon. You didn't have food. Adillah means that you were powerless, but God scored a victory for you. Verily, God provided you. God bestowed this victory upon you. وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ. Quraysh was defeated. Quraysh came to eliminate Islam. They gathered to defeat Islam, but they were defeated themselves. And because Quraysh was a tribal society, and in these tribal societies, many men and women are arrogant. They are arrogant. They don't resort to their senses. They do not resort to reason, to aql. The only language they understand is sword and power and blood. So they decided that since Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam defeated us, we're going to strike back. We're going to teach them a lesson next year. And the leader of those who were defeated was Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan and his wife Hind. Hind, the mother of Muawiyah. They both were defeated in a very bad way, terrible way. So Abu Sufyan decided when they went back to Mecca and they lost more than 70 or 80 of their men during the Battle of Badr. It was a big tragedy for Quraysh. Nothing has happened before like that. with this magnitude of loss and defeat. Nothing. This is the first time Quraysh is defeated with this a huge number. So Abu Sufyan said, no women have the right to weep for their dead ones, for their sons, for their brothers. You cannot weep, you cannot cry. You cannot lament your dead ones. Why? Because I want the hate and the grudge to be stored in your hearts, so we take revenge from Muhammad and his community next year. Keep the grudge in your heart. Don't cry. Because you know when people cry, what happens? What happens? They release, yeah. They release some of the energy that some people have, sometimes. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Yeah. Take it easy tonight. Take it easy, Habibi. Take it easy, yeah. So he did not allow them to weep, and they kept this grudge in their heart. And next year, with the 3,000 fighters, they left the city of Mecca. They said, we will march all the way about 400 kilometers to Medina to defeat Muhammad and his community and his entire followers. 3,000 armed men marching from Mecca all the way to Medina to take revenge. So they came to Medina. The story is very long. And the Muslims were disputing whether we go outside Medina or we receive them while we are inside Medina. The Prophet said, I believe let's stay inside Medina. We know our neighborhoods, our streets very well, so we can ambush them. But the majority of the Muslims, they said, no, la ya Rasulullah, let's go outside. Let's receive them outside Medina. So the Prophet said, okay, because this is the opinion of the majority, no problem. I will follow the majority. Though he is the messenger of God, and he has the best reason, the best aql, the best wisdom and calculation, but he had to go with the vote of the majority. And you know what happened in Uhud? In the beginning, Quraysh was defeated again, mostly by the sword of Imam Ali alayhi salam. But then the tama', the greed did not allow for this victory to conclude, to finish. Many people left their positions. They were standing on the mountain. The Prophet asked 50 of them, 50 of those fighters, not to leave their positions until I come and ask you to come down. Stay there to protect the back of the army. But when Quraysh was defeated, and you know at that time people will take their valuables to the battlefield. And Quraysh, they brought many of their valuables. And they brought Hind and some women as cheerleaders. Cheerleaders. Have you seen cheerleaders here in the NBA? Alhamdulillah, we had cheerleaders of Quraysh 1400 years ago, led by a woman called Hind, the mother of Muawiyah. And history says, if you open any book of history about the Battle of Uhud, you will find this sentence. يَضْرِبْنَ بِالدُّفُوفِ وَيُغَنِّينَ. They beat the drums and they sing. So those were the cheerleaders that Quraysh brought to cheer their army, to encourage their army against the Muslims. But despite having cheerleaders and having weapons and having leadership, they did not have one thing. They did not have Iman. They were fighting not for God, not for human principles or human values. They were fighting for materialism. They were fighting for their pride, for their arrogance. So in the beginning they were defeated. Unfortunately, those archers who were placed at the mountain, they did not honor what the Prophet asked them to do. They did not honor their covenant with the Prophet. 40 of them, they left their positions because they saw the booties, the ghanaim, in the field. And they said, by the time Muhammad, our Prophet, will come and say, come down, we will go, and everything is over. we have to live with the leftover. And we don't want to do this. We want to have our share. So they left their positions, 40 of them, only 10 stayed there. They said, no, never. The Prophet said, stay here, we stay here until he gives us the orders. And Khalid ibn al-Walid, who was in the army of the Mushrikeen at that time, he was a smart. He realized that the Muslims, the Mushrikeen are running, and the Muslims are chasing them. And then he went behind the mountain with a handful of his army. He was waiting and watching what will happen. So he found that nobody is protecting the Muslims from back. So he made a U-turn around the mountain, and he came this way, and then he started chasing the Muslims. So imagine, the Mushrikeen are running, the Muslims are in the middle, again another battalion of the polytheists are behind them, chasing them. And when the polytheists in the front, they realized that Muslims being chased, they stopped. They stopped running. They came back. They had a counterattack against the Muslims, so the Muslims were squeezed in the middle. From that side and this side, the army of their enemies. And more than 70 of their men were murdered on that day, including the uncle of the Prophet, Hamza ibn Abd al-Muttalib alayhi salam. Not only he was murdered, Hind, the wife of Abu Sufyan, the mother of Muawiyah, she came to his body and she started cutting his body into pieces because she wants to take revenge, amputating his limbs. And it was a big tragedy for the Prophet and for the Muslim society that day. This lady Nasiba, she came from Medina for one reason in the beginning, to help the army. She brought with her something called as-siqa. As-siqa means the water container, the skin water container that they carried. At that time there were no bottles today like this one. So Samira Miri would not complain about them. So they had this big water container, skin water container. They would carry with them and they give water to the army. So she came with this purpose. But she said, when I saw Muslims are running, they are not with the Prophet. And this is in chapter 3, إِذْ تُصْعِدُونَ وَلَا تُلْوُونَ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ وَالرَّسُولُ يَدْعُوكُمْ فِي أُخْرَاكُمْ. They left the Prophet. Only 6 or maximum 7 people stayed with the Prophet. The rest of the army fled the scene. They started climbing the mountain of Uhud. Tus'idun means you climb. إِذْ تُصْعِدُونَ وَلَا تُلْوُونَ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ وَالرَّسُولُ يَدْعُوكُمْ فِي أُخْرَاكُمْ. Your Prophet is calling upon you. Come back. Don't run away. God says, حَتَّى إِذَا فَشِلْتُمْ. When you failed. He's talking to the Muslims in chapter number 3. حَتَّى إِذَا فَشِلْتُمْ وَتَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. تَنَازَعْتُمْ, you did not have one voice. You started having fights among yourselves, a conflict among yourselves. وَتَنَازَعْتُمْ, from niza', conflict. وَعَصَيْتُمْ, and you disobeyed the Prophet. وَعَصَيْتُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا أَرَاكُمْ مَا تُحِبُّونَ مِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرِيدُ الدُّنْيَا وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرِيدُ الْآخِرَةِ. Remember this verse in chapter 3. God is saying to the Muslims at that day, the companions of the Prophet, the Sahaba, minkum, among you, man yuridu dunya. His intention is not the akhirah, is not Islam, is not the Prophet, is dunya, materialism. Wa minkum, and among you, man yuridu al-akhirah, whose intention is the hereafter. And we find this in every society, in every community, in every country. 2 types of people. Some of them, they look for the akhirah, they work for the akhirah, and some of them, they are attached to the dunya. And this is a verse in the Quran. Don't forget this verse. Minkum man yuridu dunya, among you those who love and are fascinated by this life, the worldly life. وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرِيدُ الْآخِرَةِ. This happened during the Battle of Uhud. So this lady, she said, I saw the Muslims are running away, leaving the Prophet, and the Prophet was about to be killed. He almost died, the Prophet. He was heavily injured. His forehead, his head, his chest, he was bleeding. And he fell down, the Prophet. He could not stand. And those battalions, one after the other, they aimed at him to murder the Prophet. And Ali ibn Abi Talib was standing there. Whenever a battalion attacks, the Prophet says, Ya Ali, ikshifha anni. Clear them away from me. And Ali was running around the Prophet until his sword was broken. He came to the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, inna sayfi qad inkasar. Jibreel brought a sword, and Jibreel raised his voice and cried, La fata illa Ali, la sayfa illa dhul faqar. Jibreel came to the Prophet, said, Ya Rasulullah, look at Ali. Ali, he puts his life in danger to protect you. The Prophet said, of course, لِأَنَّهُ مِنِّي وَأَنَا مِنْهِ. We are of each other. He is of me and I am of him. Jibreel said, وَأَنَا مِنْكُمَا يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. And I am among you, O the Messenger of God. And this lady Nasiba, men are running, a lady is standing with her sword defending the Prophet. Read the history. Only 7 people, 6, some historians say 6, some say 7, stood there. The entire army left. And they were running away, including the first caliph, the second caliph, the third caliph. Some of them did not show up until 3 days. Until 3 days. They were running. They never showed up. Read the history, my friends. Many Muslims do not know about their history. They don't know. They don't read the history. Uthman ibn Affan was on the run for 3 days. When he came back, the Prophet was laughing. He said, Uthman, everybody came back the same day, the following. It took you 3 days? He said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, of course. It's the war. I can't. Can you imagine? And Ali puts his soul and himself online. Ali ibn Abi Talib. And this lady, Nasiba, she called upon her son. Amara, her son, was about to run away too. She said to him, Amara, come here, come back. Come back. This is a matter of life and death. We have to protect our leader, our messenger of God. You have to stay and fight. So he listened to his mother, and he stayed and he was defending the Prophet until he was killed, right before her eyes. And she didn't care. A mother, when she loses her son, she collapses usually. She sits and cries. She goes to salvage him, to rescue him, to take him, to evacuate him from the battlefield. She didn't do that. She said, I have to protect Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She continued fighting, and she was overwhelmed with wounds and injuries from head to bottom. She was bleeding, but she was fighting. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said this sentence. Listen to the sentence. Listen to the appreciation of the Prophet to this lady, to Nasiba. He said, لَمَقَامُ نَسِيبَةَ يَوْمُ أُحُدٍ خَيْرٌ مِّن مَقَامِ فُلَانٍ وَفُلَانٍ. The standing, the sacrifice, the giving of this lady Nasiba on the day of Uhud is much greater than the standing of Fulan and Fulan who run away. The Prophet appreciated her. And until, alhamdulillah, the Prophet was saved, and slowly the rest of the companions who fled, they came back, they protected the Prophet, but unfortunately they gave over 70 of their men in that battlefield. And you can visit their graves in a special cemetery. When you go to Uhud, the land of Uhud, there is a special cemetery that contains the bodies of the martyrs of Uhud, and also some of them who were wounded and evacuated and died later on. They were brought to Medina and they died later on. They are buried in Maqbaratul Baqi'. Not only, her role did not end here, the role of Nasiba in Uhud. She continued fighting in other places. In the battle of Khaybar, she went to Khaybar. She went to the conquest of Mecca with the Prophet. She went to Hunayn, one of the last battles in Islam. So she partook in all these battles, protecting Allah, protecting the Prophet, protecting the Muslim community. This is an example of a hero, a lady who was good mother, good wife, good sister, and good fighter too. Good fighter. She did not relinquish her role. She had two major roles. One is inside her house taking care of her family, and second, outside the house taking care of her religion, and her community. Allahumma aghfir lil mu'minina wal mu'minat. Tomorrow, inshallah, I'm going to speak about a lady who's non-Arab. She is from Persia. I'm not going to tell you her name. Tomorrow when you come, inshallah, at 9:15, and we begin at 9:35 p.m., you're going to listen about her incredible story of this lady who came from the heart of Persia, and she serves Islam and she serves the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My friends, Zakatul Fitr is $15 per person. Inshallah, Monday night, we're going to go for moon sighting. If we see the moon with naked eyes, then Eid is going to be Tuesday. If not, we don't receive the news of moon sighting on Monday night, then Tuesday is Ramadan, the last day of Ramadan, and therefore Wednesday is going to be the day of Eid. So we will announce that Monday night, because some people asked me yesterday and today about the Eid. I really don't know. A lady came to me, she said, can you make the Eid on a Tuesday? I said, I wish I can, but I wish I can give you some discount, but you know, it's not in my control. So please be patient. We fasted more than 29, 28 days, so it's either one or more 2 days. You are not going to lose anything, inshallah. Allahumma aghfir lil mu'minina wal mu'minat wal muslimina wal muslimat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat tabi' Allahumma baynana wa baynahum bil khairat. We have a friend, a very dear friend to us, very, very special friend in the community. He's going to have a surgery tomorrow. So please raise your hand. Let's pray for him. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. 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 يا الله من على مرضانا بالشفاء والعافية. المريض المنظور اللهم ألبسه ثوب الصحة والعافية، وعجل في فرج سيدنا ومولانا صاحب العصر والزمان. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة، وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا، واجعلنا اللهم من أنصاره وأعوانه. وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات ثواب الفاتحة مع الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.